Today, we will live with a very strange phenomenon. It hasn't happened before. It hasn't been even studied. The scientists called it a fire tornado phenomenon. It is one of the strangest phenomenon witnessed by the scientists a few years ago only. Dears, we will reflect upon this research. In this research, we will reflect on this phenomenon and see how did the Holy Quran tell us about this type of tornadoes in a wonderful manner. Scientists say that the fire tornado is made because of a grand supercell or thunderstorm, and then there is an air whirlpool, and having originally a big fire in one of the forests, and then the tornado starts forming as we see in front of us. What distinguishes this tornado is having the fire, or let's say a fire core in the center that magnifies its destructive power. This tornado is capable of destroying the cores, causing fire in the forests. Even the scientists had taken photos of this tornado a few years ago, and it was amazing. Only 2 years ago, in 2013, National Geographic and some of its researchers studied this type of tornadoes, which was not known to scientists before. And they found that the temperature increases due to the fire and then forms the fire tornado from this core, and then the unseen part, which is the air whirlpool, which feeds the center of the tornado with oxygen so that the fire goes on and on. The fire tornado monitored lately in Australia and Brazil, the diameter of the core of it was 10 meters and its height is 300 meters upwards. Dears, this tornado has a powerful destruction capability. It can fire down a very big farm of 5 kilometers length, and it can destroy it to the ground within 10 minutes only. Why? Because it moves in a speed that exceeds 30 kilometers per hour. Before 2013, no one had ever studied this type of tornadoes, because what is well known that tornadoes does not contain any type of fire. But when amateur photographers took photos and videos of this type of tornado, it rose the attention of the scientists to study this tornado, and they have used special balloon-mounted laboratories. They work as satellites to gather data with the infrared rays and the other rays. And they have taken, as for the photos taken from satellites, and those photos taken also by monitoring radars, and also photos and videos from amateur photographers. This photo in front of you is for a fire tornado which hit the east side of Australia on the 24th of October in 2012. It caused a major destruction in the forests and in the properties. Of course, the scientists say that the formation of the fire tornado necessitates special circumstances in terms of the temperature, whirlpools, and the speed of winds, and etc. So now, check with me this chart for the fire tornado. It has been developed only 1 year ago. The scientists drew this chart, and they noted and acknowledged that after having this phenomenon repeated more than many times in Australia, Brazil, and the US, they started paying attention to it, and they found that the fire tornado starts as powerful whirlpools that take dust from Earth, and it destructs everything that gets near to it. And in the core, we find a fire torch that turns or rotates around itself, and then it goes upwards, thus increasing its destruction power. What the scientists emphasize that if it hasn't been for the development of digital technology and measurement and photographing devices, and had it been for the dryness and the climate change, it would have never been possible for anyone to see or forecast such a tornado. Australia Geographic confirms that the fire tornado phenomenon is a very rare phenomenon. They say that this phenomenon happens or takes place in forests and not in the desert. It hasn't been monitored in any desert. Here we can see at the ABC this research that has been conducted in 2012. The Western scientists, they acknowledge that the first scientific documentation for the fire tornado phenomenon was in 2003 only, and this is by their acknowledgement, as we can see. But let's wonder, how about the Quran? How about the Holy Book of God? Did it refer to this phenomenon before the scientists? The truth is that all scientists, all Western scientists, should acknowledge is that the first scientific documentation for the fire tornado phenomenon was not really in 2003. Rather, it came in the 7th Gregorian century, and that having an indicator for this tornado in the Quran is a physical evidence for the miraculousness of this Quran. God said, "Would any one of you like to have a great garden of palms and other types of fruits?" Look how the description is. Having a great yard or field or a farm, and then having rivers flow in it. Look at this great picture. Look at this drawn image. And then a person grows old, and he has this farm with trees and with rivers, and then he has weak sons. And how would he be? How is his status? How is his condition? God said, and then a tornado with fire in it hit it, and then it burnt down. That's how God shows you the signs. Maybe you would think. So, this needs us to think and to reflect upon that this person who did not perform the zakah, who did not give the zakat, God penalized him with something that is very destructive, which is the fire tornado, although it wasn't heard about in the Prophet's age or era. But also the interpreters, they have documented this phenomenon phenomenon from Quran. Imam Ibn Kathir says, in the meaning of having weak